Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Let's Talk Live with Malik, exclusively on Huda TV. I'm so excited that we're live. I know you guys, don't you guys just love that theme song, that Let's Talk theme song? We're live now. I'm so excited about it. So give us a call, 00202 3855 248 or 249. Well, look at that. I even remembered the phone number. That's 00202 3855 248 or 249. Give us a call live right now and Let's Talk exclusively on Huda TV. You guys, I want to talk about actually a serious subject. I want to talk about Islamophobia. Let's take a look at that word first, Islamophobia. That's a Greek word, right? Phobia, which means fear of Islam. But that's a misleading word, a misleading term, because we're actually talking about hatred against Islam and Muslims that has actually led to violence against Islam and Muslims in Europe and America. Recently, we saw in San Diego, California, a 32-year-old woman from Iraq originally in San Diego, California was beaten to death. She was beaten to death on the street by a man who had an iron rod who hit her in the head. After 3 days in the hospital, she died. Her name was Shaima Al-Awadi. Excuse me, my poor Arabic. Shaima Al-Awadi. She was 32 years old and a mother of 3. And they found next to her body on the street a note that said, "You are a terrorist. Go back to your country." So Islamophobia is a wrong word here. We're talking about hatred of Muslims that has actually equated to violence. And this is a very serious subject. And I brought two dear brothers to my heart to talk about this subject with me. I want to focus in this episode, however, on Islamophobia and violence and hatred against Muslims in Europe. So I brought two German Muslims with me, inshallah, alhamdulillah. I'm so happy to have them. You might know the first brother, Hamza Salahudin, aka also known as Pierre Vogel from Cologne, Germany. I also have a regular and a friend, a dear brother of mine. He's been on Let's Talk before, an IT specialist and a prominent German Muslim revert as well, Brother Tahir Boryan. Assalamu alaikum. How are you guys doing?
Wa alaikum salam.
Now, I feel like we're live from Berlin right now, but we're not. Thank you guys seriously for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you guys. Thank you so much. And of course, we have our handsome studio audience, mashallah. Thank you guys for joining us as well. A lot of people don't know this brother in the back right here with the microphone. What's your name, brother?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Adil.
Alaikum salam, brother Muhammad Adil. A lot of people don't know. He's actually my Arabic teacher.
MashaAllah.
Thank you for coming to Simon. Thank you so much. So, like we said, starting with you, Abu Hamza, what is the reason for this hatred against Islam and Muslims in Europe? Maybe you can share your experiences in Germany, because I think we all agree there is a hatred against Muslims and Islam in Europe.
No, actually, this Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, this is actually a very long topic, but to start right in front, you know, to talk about why there is this hatred spreading, where does this agitation come from? There is a direct and an indirect agitation against Muslims.
Okay.
And the direct agitation is in a lot of websites in every country in Europe. And these websites are, and I want to say it from the beginning, are using the propaganda methodics of Adolf Hitler in a former time.
Okay.
Adolf Hitler, he wrote in his book, My Fight, 4 points of propaganda, that it has always be capable or easy for the easiest minds, you know, so you have always to repeat stereotypes always and always again. Then the next thing is that you should never mention something good about the persons. This is now what they do with Islam. If a Muslim says something good, they say, this is taqiyya, you know, he's lying about this religion. Or they say, or it's a non-Muslim. You know, it's one guy, his name is, for example, Muhammad.
But it's not related to Islam.
But it has nothing to do with Islam. And the fourth point is that they say you should destroy or defame those who defend them. And these are now in Europe who? The socialists and the, you know, like the people, you know, like the communists and so. And this is also the reason why Anders Breivik in Norway killed the socialist youth. And this, I really want to say this. This is exactly what Adolf Hitler did when he became the leader of Germany in 1933. The first thing he did was he burned by himself the Reichstag. Reichstag is a big building from the government. And then he said, oh, this was a socialist who did this, a communist, to stop the communists. You know, of course, the communists are not supporting the Muslims, but, you know, we see the same way. How do they call this guy Anders Breivik right now? They say he's insane. I tell you, he's not insane. because when you read the book, for example, Genocide, Worse Than War, that's a book from Daniel Jonah Goldhagen from the US, a Jew from the US.
Okay.
He writes about genocide all over the world, and he mentions one common thing with all the people who killed children, women, innocent people, everything, that they afterwards said, we did it to defend ourselves.
Right.
And that's the same what Anders Breivik says right now. He said, I did it for my
Right,
self-defense.
right.
If I don't do it, they will later do it with me.
Right.
The German Nazis, when they killed little children, they said, if this children will become big,
He will kill
they
me.
will kill us. And that's the same what they say now everywhere in Europe about Muslims. There was another guy, Alexander Wiens, who killed Marwa Shabini.
Yes, that's excellent. But thank you for bringing that up as well. People forgot about
You
that.
know, there is a lot of things. In
Right.
Germany and nowhere in the Arabic media you hear this. There was a NSU, this is a Nazi group, they killed 9 Turkish people.
You know,
and
Brother
so
Tahir
on.
had
Yeah.
mentioned that to me. Yeah, actually, yeah. There was a neo-Nazi group that had killed.
Yeah. You know, there are a lot of these things, and all these people say the same, like all those who were involved in genocide, be it in Bosnia or in Rwanda, Hutu or Tutsi,
Right.
or the Nazis or whatever, Red Hammer, all these people,
Right.
they believe that they are right, and this is what they now say, and this time they say the Jews want to conquer us. Now they say, yeah, the Muslims are dangerous, they
Right.
are dangerous, 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 dangerous.
Right.
And then the people are ready to say, yeah, we have to defend ourselves, we have to kill them.
Thank you for that insight. Go ahead, Brother Tahir.
Yeah, actually, I think this will continue because the shaitan exists, and his biggest enemy is Islam. So he will find ways, he will look for ways
Right.
to fight against Islam. And as long the shaitan exists, and he will exist until the end of the earth and until the Yawm al-Qiyamah. So this is the situation, and he has his weapons and using some, and there are shaitan people, shaitan men, and shaitan jinn
Right.
influencing other people. So this is the way how it is going to continue, and we have to fight against shaitan, yani, to try our best, and inshallah, and our weapon is Islam. Yani. This is our weapon, what we have to use against him.
Of course, yeah.
Inshallah, speaking good, showing good manner, and so on.
Of course, excellent point, Brother Tahir.
Alhamdulillah.
Abu Hamza, those were really strong words you had when you said there. And thank you for drawing that insight, that correlation with the Norwegian guy who killed 77 people. They were Norwegians. And he said, I did it because they were socialists. I couldn't figure out why did this man kill Norwegians because he's mad about Islam.
I knew it.
It didn't make sense to me. And by the way, in the media, excuse me to interrupt you, in the media, they said at first we think it was Islamic terrorism. Then when they found out it was a Protestant white man, they said, oh, it wasn't terrorism anymore, it was a crime.
And by the way, I told you that there are certain websites in every European country. There are some movements in every European country. Like in Germany, there is politically incorrect movement.
Okay.
Like in Holland, there is Geert Wilders and his movement.
Right.
In Belgium, there's Vlaams Belang. In France, there is this Le Pen. Everywhere in Austria of FPÖ.
England as well as BDL.
England,
And the Greeks, sorry to interrupt you, I'm going to get you to keep going, but the Greeks just elected 7% of their parliament, a group called, neo-Nazi group called Golden Dawn, and the guys are already saying all the immigrants get out of Greece.
Yeah.
And which is amazing because the Greeks have immigrated all over the world. Now this neo-Nazi group is saying for them to get out, and of course they have hatred against Muslims as well. But
There's a new movement right now in Germany called NSW, pro-NSW. And it's really amazing what they are doing right now.
NSW.
Really bad. Yeah,
You know, actually, you know, this group is existing for more years now. There was a big demonstration, pro Cologne, pro NRW, in 2008, where and in 2009 also. But they have now a new way to provocate the Muslims, that they come with a Muhammad caricature
Right.
to alayhi salatu wasalam, and of course, you know, this is something, this is the red line.
Right.
Insulting the Prophet is for Muslim the red line,
Yeah.
and this is what they are now using. But what I wanted to mention is that this guy, Anders Breivik, he was a writer for such a blog in internet who is spreading hatred
Right.
against Islam in Norway.
Okay,
This is
right.
very important, you know, and what I want to say is, I know this topic quite well, inshallah, because I made some lectures about it, and the people were very shocked, and I realized that the German media doesn't like it.
Right.
The first time I made a lecture in Basel in Swiss
Okay.
about this topic, propaganda methodic of Adolf Hitler in modern times against Muslims.
This is a wonderful topic. Go ahead.
I
brother.
did this in May 2009. When I wanted to go back to Swiss
They said no.
in December, they banned me from entering Swiss.
That made you add, right.
Yeah. They said I'm a danger for the inner security.
Okay.
You know, never happened something when I came.
Right.
But I think the truth is something.
The truth hurts.
The truth
Yeah.
hurts,
Yeah,
and the
danger,
truth
yeah.
is a danger for the inner security.
Yeah.
I said in this lecture, I said, if this was in April or May 2009, I think April, I said if the agitation against Muslims will continue as it is now, you will see that a Muslim will be killed, or even I said a Muslim woman with hijab. In May 2009, I said it to Hannoverische Allgemeine, that's a newspaper in West Germany.
Okay.
I said, if you continue your spreading hatred against Islam, and if the German government is not clothing these websites,
Right.
you will see that the first woman will be killed. On the 1st July of 2009, at night, we got a phone call. An Egyptian woman, her name is Marwa Shabini,
That's right.
was today stabbed in the court of Dresden.
Right.
When we heard this, the first thing what I wanted to do is, I wanted to know, is this right? Because maybe we spread something and later on we realized this guy told us a story, a fairy tale.
Right.
So what I did is, I looked at all the newspapers and the internet and all the news. I didn't find anything. Then late at night, there came some news. A woman was killed in the court.
Right.
It was something about a quarrel in the playground.
Right.
So what I knew immediately, that the German government, and I say it very loud, I don't care about them, that they want to hide this
of course.
fact.
They want to be very quiet. Yeah.
Because they are very, you know, they don't like that when people say because of our past.
Right.
You know, and I also want to mention, not that we have a wrong understanding, not everybody in Germany is hating Muslims, and
Of course not. Yeah, we
no,
wanna make that clear
I want
also.
to differentiate. We are not like them.
Right.
You know, we want to differentiate. There are people who are openly, people who have some tolerance, and there are people who have hatred, but they are rapidly growing minority.
Right.
So when this happened, we tried to spread it everywhere, and you know,
Mashallah. Right.
to
Yeah, I have the feeling right now too that they are trying to hide what's happening right now in Germany with
Right.
this pro-NRW. I'm wondering that many people, when I'm asking, did you hear this? What happened now in Germany? Nobody knows.
Because there's some clips on
it's a little
YouTube
bit-
I think you both have seen.
Yeah.
Some fighting in the streets and.
Yeah, but you know
like you said-
what is the reason for this? Because these neo-Nazis, they took some cartoons and really surrounded by the police, and they are going to masajid, and the
Right.
police are like taking care about them.
Right.
Nobody can touch them,
Right.
and it's supported by the German. They approved it. The German
Right,
government
right.
approved it by in the court with a court, and so they are going with these cartoons and provoking the Muslims.
Right.
And I think every Muslim, when he's hearing about this, when he hears about this, so, and he's
Right.
going totally upset, if you, and cartoons of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
But shouldn't we have a
So-
better response? We have to put together a coordinated response to this, right?
yeah, you
Not
know,
just to get angry, although naturally to get angry, but not to act with violence, because people react with violence, and this is a bad approach. We have to use wisdom and use the law.
you know, it's always easy to say this when we are not standing in the front row.
Yeah,
but,
of course, right.
But of course, you know, my opinion is that the best way to answer this is like the Prophet answered this in the same situation. You know, there were situations where the Prophet answered with power,
Right.
because Islam is not a pacifistic religion.
Right. Let's get that straight.
And
right.
we want to mention this,
Right,
you
of
know,
course.
and you know, this is really a red line. But at the time when he was in Mecca, he was, and I talk also with some sheikhs about this, he was answering with his dawah. But this is easy said, you know. We are not standing in the front row. These
Right.
are our brothers
Right.
who are standing there. They are very young. They want to do something.
Yeah. Right.
And
right.
it's also not right that we really attacked the police. But what happened is they wanted to go through the police to these people to
Right.
take this picture.
Right.
So what happened is the police had to
Intervene.
defend these people. I
Right.
mean, this is a law in Germany.
Right,
In
right.
Germany, it's also allowed. They have to think about a bit more about their understanding of freedom of speech.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
throughout the
but
world.
Pierre Vogel, I'm speaking about the fact, you know. Can you imagine in Germany if somebody is taking a picture of Adolf Hitler, would they let him
That's a
with a
great
picture
point.
running
That's a great
with Adolf
point.
Hitler?
You
No,
are
they would say
you are
it's not
absolutely-
possible.
no,
But
you
as
are-
long as
That's what he was saying.
as these are Muslims,
Yeah,
as
they
long
let
as
it-
these
they
are
let it
Muslims,
go.
we can provoke them. We can.
That's a great point, Tyler.
This
Yeah,
is
that's what you
exactly,
meant.
this is
with their-
exactly what I want to
Yeah,
say.
that's what you meant,
You
yeah.
know,
We have to rethink freedom
they
of
have
speech.
to think about their understanding about freedom of speech, because it's not right that you're allowed to do anything. For example, if I would go with a picture of a Jew
Yeah.
where I insult Judaism,
Yeah.
they will maybe put me into jail.
Right.
I'm not
Maybe.
allowed.
Or with
I'm-
Adolf Hitler, a picture.
I'm not
Yeah.
allowed
Surely
even.
put you into jail.
I'm not allowed even to what? To doubt the Holocaust.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not allowed.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Right.
I'm not talking about, you know, it's not allowed. This will put you into jail.
There's no
So-
freedom of speech
so
in
On
these
this
days.
topic, but I
On
guess
this
Muslims are-
topic,
Yeah.
So, but Pierre Vogel, you're saying, brother, you're saying we need to rethink freedom of speech throughout Europe.
Yeah, they have, you know, we have to really, on an intellectual level, also to try, but they don't want it.
They don't want to try,
Yeah, to speak with them about this.
Right,
Because,
right.
first of all, you know, freedom of speech has everywhere his borders.
Right, right.
Also, you know, in Islam there's also kind of freedom of speech, but
right.
you're not allowed to say something which hurts or destroys or is bad for the society.
Yeah,
That's the
right.
same in Germany.
Right,
I
right.
cannot say, insult some people. I will get, if I
Libel, slander, they take you to
yeah,
court.
for example. So why? But what? In case of religion, you
let
are
it go.
you are allowed in Germany to insult Jesus.
So to them, right?
You
And
know,
Muhammad, so to them, and all
of
the
course,
prophets.
we are also against this.
Yeah.
You know, actually, we as Muslims, it's not my words. It's what Allah says in the Quran. Surah Al-An'am, verse 106. Allah says, وَلَا تَصُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَيَسُبُّوا اللَّهَ عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. Don't insult those who they worship besides Allah, the idols,
Right.
so that they insult Allah in without knowledge,
Right,
in
right.
transgression.
Right.
So we are not insulting the religions. We want to try to speak in an objective, intellectual level about what is right, what is wrong.
Right, excellent
You
point.
can discuss with us, is Islam the true religion? Allah says in Surah Al-Nahl, verse 126, He says, "Urtu ila sabila rabbika," I think 126 or 125, "Urtu ila sabila rabbika bil-hikmati wa maw'idhati al-hasana wa jadilhum billati ahsan." That means, call to your way of your Lord with wisdom and nice speech, and dispute with them in the best way. A dispute can only be if there's somebody who has another
course.
opinion.
Yeah,
right?
excellent point.
So this is something we have really to talk about with them.
Excellent point. Thank you, Brother Hamza. Brother Tahir, stay with us, you guys. And so the audience, don't go anywhere. You guys at home, don't go anywhere. We're still talking about Islamophobia. Stay with us. We're just going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Abu Hamza, in the previous segment, you had said something very interesting. You had said the agitation against Muslims in Germany right now, and in Europe, we can say, Brother Tahir as well, is similar to the agitation against Jews before World War II. That's a big statement. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? And tell the Muslims in Europe, do they have a reason to be scared, or should they feel confident?
You know, we should not be scared. فَلَا تَخَافُونَ وَخَافُونِ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Don't fear them, but fear me if you are believers, says Allah in the Quran. You know, but we should be aware.
Okay.
You know, the Prophet ﷺ, he was always aware what is going around him. So we should be aware. But we should not despair or think, oh, we can't do anything or whatever. But I think the best way to answer is to fight against this fear. Because, you know, when in the Second World War, in the year 1941, the war against the Russians began.
Okay.
And the Germans killed there 25 million people. How was this possible that they killed all the civilians? It was possible because before they told them, these are people, you have to kill them, otherwise they will come back to you.
Right.
How we can stop this phobia, if we call it like this,
Okay.
the best way is to confront the people with a true Islam. You know, some people think the best way to go away from this is to hide Islam, that they don't see you, but it's opposite.
Right,
You have to confront the people with Islam, because when they see you, when they talk with you, even if they don't like you, but this attitude that can grow even to kill somebody, this will not appear.
Right.
This was also the problem of the Jews. You know, the Jews did not confront the people. What kind of agitation is this?
Right.
You know, but I want to mention for all the Muslims around the world, and we have to have this in our heart. Islam will enter every house. These are not my words. These are the words of the Prophet ﷺ. He says, لا يترك الله بيت مدر ولا وبر إلا أدخل هذا الدين. Allah will not let any house, be it of stone or a tent, but He will put this religion into it. And Allah says in the Quran, He says, وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. It's our obligation to make the believers victorious. So don't be afraid, but be aware and work. That's my
that's your advice.
advice. To me first, and then for other people.
Thank you, Sheikh Abu Hamza. Very inspiring, actually. Brother Tahir, we saw the rise of a neo-Nazi group, like I said, in Greece, who surprisingly won 7% of the parliament. With the rise of this kind of right-wingism, extremism, I guess we could say, do you think it's possible that the Muslims that the people of Europe will try to give the Muslims a Holocaust as well? Do you think it's like, because we're talking about agitation against Jews, and look what happened. Do you think?
No, I don't think so. That
it's not to that extreme.
I don't think so. I hope, inshallah, we're not sure it will not be. But I don't know what are the intentions right now. Why the court, the German court, let this people making this cartoons and this provocation? I don't know their intentions. Because it's not logic. Maybe there is like what I thought also. There's like an economic problem right now in Europe.
They want to distract people.
So maybe they want to focus now on another point, and there is like a black sheep to focus on the black sheep and let the people think about something else. So actually, this is well known from all from other leaders that if there are like internal problems, they want to make a war with another land to focus on not on the internal problems. Right. I remembered right now also something. It's another topic.
Go ahead.
A brother, a good brother, it's called Ahmed von Denver from Germany. He was well known before. He said a non-Muslim. His example is like this. Yani, he also a non-Muslim who has not Islam in his heart. He has an internal war from his heart. He has an internal war. So what he is going to do? He starts making external wars against other peoples, but not wars. I don't mean with violence or something like this. Maybe verbal wars or verbal discussions. To not to think about his internal problems.
Yeah, of course. That's a good point.
This is maybe something
related to this
going
topic.
back to the individual.
Yeah.
But I guess that. It could be. I don't know the reason why they are doing this and how far it will go.
Good question.
And as you think, could it go until the Holocaust like it was with the Jews? I hope, inshallah, bismillah, it will never go. And what we need as Muslims right now, I think, is like we need to have power, because actually they can do now with the Muslims whatever they want, because the Muslims have no power. There's nobody supporting these people.
They don't enter
who
the
are like
political
making
scene.
Protests in the street against this these cartoons and against these actions from these Nazis. Nobody, not an Islamic or a power like a caliph is supporting these people. So they are like
playing with the defenseless people. Excellent point.
I think it's.
And by the way, speaking of all this stuff, you guys know today in The Hague in the Netherlands, that Serbian man who was responsible for killing 8,000 Muslim people in Srebrenica was on trial today. And inshallah, we hope that he will have justice served against him. So that's an interesting topic. And this was just in the 90s when we were talking about we're talking about all this bad stuff, genocide and Holocaust. Look what they did to the Muslims of Bosnia. And that was in Europe. And you know what? If I might add, in Srebrenica, they said there was UN Dutch peacekeepers there, and they pulled out because they said we can't stop the Serb forces; they're too strong, and they killed 8,000 people. That makes me so mad at him.
But Malik, I don't think that he is the only one who is responsible. They throw him out like now to the lions right now, and but maybe the other responsible people, they are now
Yeah.
counting their money or something like this. And this is also what happened maybe with the leaders like Mubarak or something.
Yeah.
He's the one who is in the
The
court.
scapegoat, yeah.
Yeah, but so other people who are like also responsible for many bad actions,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
are
of course.
still
Counting money behind the scenes, yeah.
alhamdulillah.
I also want to mention something. When I talk about agitation, I talk about similarities in the way of agitation.
Okay.
Of course, there is a different situation, and I want to mention one more time
Good.
and emphasize on that not all Germans or all Europeans are like bad enemies against Islam. And there are a lot of things that speak against that a Holocaust can happen. But at the same time, what I say, we have to be aware, because the Bosnians, the Muslims in Yugoslavia were more integrated in the Yugoslavian society.
Excellent point, Abu Hamza. Go ahead, keep going.
As the Muslims are now into the European society. The Jews in Germany, even some didn't even know that they are Jews.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, this is also.
But this means they weren't aware because they were integrated.
Yeah.
But we are now not integrated, so we are aware, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah. But I think that some Muslims are really lacking this. You know, there is a very important question, you know, which arises. Why is agitation?
Right, right.
Why? You know, I think 6 years ago, I heard a lecture from a sheikh from Egypt, and he said in this lecture that you have so long freedom of speech as you are not able to change anything.
Meaning?
But when you become able to change with your dawah, you see the society,
Right,
you
right.
will see that they try to, you know, make you problems. And this is exactly what we see now. In Europe, they know if the demographic situation continues right now, and the dawah continues right now. You know, like in German newspapers, it was written in Frankfurter Allgemeine in March 2007, that those who accepted Islam in 2006 were 14,000 people.
MashaAllah, Allahu Akbar.
This was written in Frankfurter Allgemeine. So now you see neighborhoods in Germany, like my son, he was in the school in Bonn, in the primary school, there were from 21 pupils, 16 Muslims.
MashaAllah.
So that means after 30 years, the Muslims will have a lot of power. So what they try is now, they try to stop the dawah to the real manhaj, and at the same time, they are now making universities. They want to educate the imams for the masjid in Germany.
So they can speak their message, right? So they can say their Islam, of
And
course.
also what you can see, Pierre Vogel, that before these problems, what is happening right now, there was this other project with Lease, right? That they were like giving Qur'ans for free for the people, and they were like in about every German city, they were like giving the Qur'an for free without any money. Come on and take the Qur'an for free. After this happened, there was like they made some
Controversy about it.
yeah, controversy in the media and so on. And after this, this neo-Nazi appeared.
After this,
it could happen something that there could be some similarity.
Yeah, because maybe they know, you know, what I know from my experience, a lot of people, and I'm among them, entered Islam because of reading a translation of the Quran.
Right, right. So
Maybe you know also a lot who entered Islam like this. So our aim was, or the aim of the brothers, to distribute 25 million translations of the meaning of the Quran in Germany. So after some years, they already distributed now 300,000. All with donations from Germany. You know, the brothers, there is nothing from outside, you know, from an organization outside. Because what they wanted that there's no name inside the book, you know, like a stamp, this organization, this and that. Because so every Muslim can share. It's a Quran. So, you know, when this happened, they started an agitation which we have never seen before. Even with me, you know, they were before me making a lot of trouble, but this I never saw. Yeah, you know, these people, it's no problem about distributing the Quran, it's allowed in Germany, but the people behind
They make
this
some
project,
sort of controversy behind it.
yeah, they make like, you know, oh, they're very dangerous. But I say you something, this is always free advertisement. When
Yeah,
they,
I agree.
when they started with this, the people in Berlin, a friend told me, distributed on one weekend 5,000 translations.
And I think even they are searching for laws against this, right? I had this impression from the media that they are searching for laws to not distribute the Quran.
Let them forbid it, then we find another way, inshallah.
Let's go to the studio audience. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. We have this brother in the front row. Go ahead, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's your name, brother? Where are you from?
I am Muhammad Garba from Nigeria.
Nice to see you. Go right ahead.
In fact, it makes me happy a lot whenever I meet some other my dear brothers, Muslims from other countries like this. We give thanks to Almighty Allah who has guided us. So this come in consistence with the word of the Prophet who said that this religion, so this religion is going to be spread. So wherever there is a night and the day, alhamdulillah. In fact, I'm very grateful and congratulate you, brother, from Germany. So, but my question is that, as you know that based on the current situation now in Germany, that the Muslims, they are the minorities. So among the populations. So based on all this that is happening, there is Islamophobia here and there, although the constitution is the man-made one. So, but still, they are claiming human rights here and there. Is this not a constitution not protecting the right of the minorities? So,
Excellent.
or what the government is doing towards this, or the government keep silent, looking that they should be fighting Islam like this?
Excellent point. Thank
You
very
want to
much.
answer? You know, to be fair, you know, for example, the one who killed Marwa Sherbini, he went into jail for life sentence. So, I want to be fair, that the people don't get the impression that we in Germany we have to go like this. What they try to do, they try to bend their laws as far as they can. I give you an example. Me, for example, I was giving lectures all over Germany in mosques.
Okay.
So what happened is, in these mosques, so a lot of people accepted Islam. So the German Secret Service, they went to all the mosques, and they say to the people, hey, you know, you are our friends and we like you very much, so please sign a contract, integration contract, so you only invite those people we like. So they didn't ban me because it's not allowed, you know, in German law, you have the freedom of speech. But if you take the directors of the mosque as your friends, then you can, that it works that you cannot go anywhere to these places anymore, you know. So I don't want to say, you know, that everybody is unfair and everybody is against us or something like this. As I told before, there is a rapidly growing minority, and this rapidly growing minority is influencing the politics also. And they're making a lot of trouble. And also the Secret Service, they need some success sometimes, you know.
They need
so when they can say, yeah, you know, we have something to do. These people are very dangerous. Otherwise, you know, we don't need a Secret Service. So these people need a job. Poor guys.
Excellent point. Thank you guys. You guys at home, stay tuned for more Let's Talk right after this short break. Talking about Islamophobia with Brother Tahir as well as Sheikh Abu Hamza. You guys, I think it's an interesting discussion today. It's always interesting to talk about relevant issues. I was shocked recently when I saw on the news, you know, this Islamophobia of right-wing groups, they say it's a small number. It's not a large percentage of people. But like you said, it's growing.
And something else, you know, a lot of people, they are afraid to show that they are from them.
Right.
Adolf Hitler, it's also from history, in 1928, he had 2.6% of the votes in Germany.
2.6% only.
In 1933, he won. So when he won, suddenly everywhere in Berlin there were these flags, you know, for the Nazi party.
All of a sudden,
so
like
the
this.
people were wondering, how come
the
situation is like this? So you know, it could be that they are much more than those who really stand in front and openly say, yeah, we are against them.
Right, excellent point. Brother Tahir, you know, Sheikh Abu Hamza told me a funny story, interesting story, about Turkish immigrants and their lack of integration in Germany. Do you like to share that story? Do you remember you told me that? You had talked about the Turkish people in Germany, they're not well integrated, we can say, into German society, and this causes agitation for the German people. Do you think this is a major point or no?
This is what is talked about. You know, there was also written a very bad book about the destruction of Germany by Tilo Sarrazin. This was also a milestone in the agitation against Muslims. It was written in last year or 2 years ago, and he was writing about why are the Muslims so bad integrated, and he mostly took the Turks as an example. And this is unfair.
Because you said when the Germans go to Turkey, they like them.
You know, the Turks, they were brought to Germany, and they wanted to go back 10 years later, and they were all put in one neighborhood, and they have the German, the Turkish barber and the Turkish shops and everything, and then, you know, they're all living together, they're all working together. Of course, they're talking only their language together, and then you say, hey, why the education is not so good? They were actually people who came from Turkey, and they were not the best educated people of Turkey. This is the reason why they went to Germany. So they say, look, these guys are not well educated. Look, we have Koreans who came, they're much more well educated. Yes, yeah, these Koreans who came to Germany, they are people who own firms and factories. Of course, they have a different background. And then I say to them, you know, it's amazing. You know, the Germans, all holiday, they go to Turkey and they say, oh, nice people, so much hospitality and everything. And then they come back to Germany and say, hey, I have problems with the Turks. So I tell them, you know, if you have problems with the Turks in Germany, this is what the Germans made out of this Turks. So
MashaAllah, very funny story. That's a nice way to look at it. Let's go to the studio audience. So do we have a question?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, brother. How are you?
Fine, thank you. It's not actually a question. It's more of a contribution, talking to what he said. Personally, I think Islamophobia is kind of a propaganda by the enemies of Islam. I can say the governments, the enemies, the governments that hate Islam. They are trying to use the citizens, the ignorant citizens, as a tool to destroy Muslims, because they know one day Islam is surely going to come up. So personally, I think if you see someone that really has that hate against Islam, you should talk to the person in a different way, because I kind of term them as ignorant people. So you should bring him out and talk to him in a different way, because, they're just ignorant. And talking about Breivik, his main problem was that Islam was growing in Europe, and I think the socialist governments also, they were doing nothing about it. He talked about multiculturalism or something like that, and that was his main problem. So what we can get from that story is that at least with all what they are doing, Islam is still growing in Europe. And what you said about them calling it a terrorist attack, then when it came out, they changed it. They're calling him insane and some other names like that. So personally, I think everything is going fine, just some little deaths.
I think that, thank you for your contribution, actually. I think we will see, do you think, Brother Tahir, in 10 years, that this is just a fad? You know, in the past they picked on different groups. Right now they focused on agitating Muslims. Do you think in 10 years, 20 years, they'll have left Muslims and now begin to pick on Korean immigrants or Chinese immigrants or Mexican immigrants? Do you think it's just a fad that's going, or will be like this for a long time?
I think with Muslims also, when I embraced Islam, it was about 15 years ago. So there was already Islamophobia. And I remember when I was traveling to Turkey as a non-Muslim, when I heard the Adhan, I had a bad feeling. I associated it with killing and so on. So I already took this impression from the media. And even there weren't yet the 11th of September. But also when I embraced Islam, first of all, I was hiding myself, because it was always Islam was shown in a bad picture. So it will continue until the end, until the last day. Against as I said, the shaitan exists, and the shaitan will fight against the Muslims, will fight against Islam until the end of the last day. And and we are talking a lot of this racism. And racism is also coming from the first racist was Shaitan, right? Because the Shaitan said to Allah, you build me from fire and you build him from earth, and I'm something better. I'd say I'm European, you are Arab. I'm something. This racism is coming out also from this is coming from Shaitan. Something what the Shaitan has, yani. So this will continue until the end of the day.
You know, I don't worry. You know, when people say, you know, when people want to make a war against Islam and Muslims, it's so futile. They will never win. You can defeat maybe Muslims in this war or that war, but you will never defeat Islam. So it makes me laugh, actually.
You know, I want also to emphasize on something very, very important for the Muslims around the world, because a lot of Muslims unfortunately don't understand this. And we have to learn the biography of the Prophet ﷺ. As stronger his dawah became, as stronger the war against him was. When we see the Meccan period, in the 10th time after he was sent as a prophet, the dawah was almost fully stopped. And the win of Allah, the victory of Allah, has always two ways. It comes in a situation where you have no way out anymore. Like Musa alayhi salam, when he was standing at the Red Sea, there was no way out, the help of Allah came. Musa, but he had to do something. He had to put the stick, hit the stick on the sea. And then Musa went through the sea, and when he was on the other side, he was hitting against the sea. But Allah did not close the water. Why? Because Allah had a different plan. He wanted that the Pharaoh enters the water. The Prophet ﷺ, when the dawah was fully stopped in Mecca, fully stopped, then in the 11th year there came 6 people from Al-Khazraj, from Medina, then the 12th year, Bayatul Aqaba, Kubra, then afterwards the Hijrah, and so on and so on. Always, when you think there is no way out anymore, and this is the victory of Allah comes, when you think there's no way out anymore, like Ghazwatul Khandaq. Ghazwatul Khandaq, you know, now Bani Qurayza is against us. 1 month they are standing there. You know, the Muslims are exhausted. Then one man, Nu'aym ibn Mas'ud, enters Islam, and he is the reason, and then the wind comes, you know, at the end. Why? Because Allah said, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ حَتَّى نَعْلَمَ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّابِرِينَ وَنَبْلُوا أَخْبَارَكُمْ. And this, you know, we will test you until we know those who struggle and those who are steadfast. The next thing is, the wind comes always in a way you don't expect, and sometimes you even hate it. Why? That we know that the help is alone from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And I remind people, thank you for that reminder. I remind people too, didn't Islam conquer Persia? Didn't Islam conquer Rome? Aren't the Muslims sitting in Constantinople, which is now Istanbul? Didn't the Prophet ﷺ promise that man who was chasing him, I forgot his name, something Ibn Malik, I think.
Suraka.
Yes, he promised, I will give you the gold bracelets of... And didn't that come true? So when people make a war against Islam, it's futile. You can abuse Muslims, maybe defeat them here and there in battles and wars, but you're making a war against Islam. These countries...
وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And the end is for the God-fearing.
And people say to me, excellent point, people say to me, you know, we have a constitution, we're a modern country, we've been here 100 years, 200 years. I say to them, you know, we have the laws of Allah. In 10,000 years, they called Muslims backwards. In 10,000 years, were those countries that we are talking about today even exist? Where their constitutions and laws have changed 100 times over? Today in California, they said homosexual marriage is okay. Next year, the voters said it's not okay. So which one is it? You know, so inshallah, I don't think it's Islamophobia. I don't think it's, I think Islam, inshallah, will withstand it and only get stronger, inshallah.
Of course, that's the way.
Yeah, that's the way. Do we have anything from our studio audience? Yes, Alaykum salam. By the way,
My name is Ahmed, and I'm from Egypt. First of all, I just want to say, may Allah make it easy for all our brothers around the world who struggled because they are Muslims. And then I have a question to our brother Vogel. You mentioned in your speech that in every problem around the world with Muslims, there are persons who are in the first row, who are struggling more and more because of the problem. What is the rule, and how can we help those who are in the front row, in spite that we are in a big distance from them? How can we help them? Every Muslim in the world, how can they help them?
Excellent point. Thank you, Brother Akram. We only have 2 minutes before the end of the program. I want to start by saying I think it's good for the Muslims in Muslim countries to be a good example so people that the Muslim minorities in Europe and America can have something to look towards and say these people are being a good example and they're supporting us. So what do you think, Sheikh Abu Hamza?
The first thing, you know, the good example we hear always, this is good, but I want to say we have to have an aim. And then we have to go this way until the end. Our aim has to be to do everything, that every heart beating is for what? To put this religion into every single house on the whole world. This is our aim. Let's look how we can
Accomplish our goal, inshallah.
Right.
I think also I think the best way to help them is dua. Yani the strongest weapon of a Muslim is dua. Yani, and also what I think in this right now in this situation, and what I would like is like that also some protesters now in the Arabic countries are going to the street and saying we don't like these cartoons, what's happening in Germany.
Of course,
and but they are not informed.
They're sleepwalking. We see more protests in London, not in the Middle East.
Yeah, to show that we are one, yani, that the Muslims are one.
Exactly.
Yani. If you are doing this, if you are showing cartoons from the Prophet, yani, this is not right.
You have to have one voice.
You are hurting the whole Muslims, not only the Muslims in Germany.
We need also a strong voice in Arabic countries who speaks, for example, with the German government, for example, says them, look, we have to talk, is this freedom of speech?
Have some strength.
You know, you can discuss with us about religion. If you don't like something in Islam, you can.
Right.
You have freedom of speech.
One hand, one voice.
One voice. I said we don't have the power right now. We don't have a Khalif. Yani. We don't have the power right now who is supporting this. His brothers. Yani.
I think that's the end of the episode, you guys. I want to go longer, but Brother Muhammad out in the back, he needs some water. He's coughing a lot. We're going to end the episode now, you guys. I just want to reiterate, we're one ummah, we're one voice, so we need to stick together, inshallah, and we'll get to these difficult times. Thank you so much, Sheikh Abu Hamza, Salahudin, Pierre Vogel, all the way from Cologne, Germany. You have an open invitation here. Actually, I always love to have you on the show, so come back next week, the week after, and the week after, and every week. Make sure you the co-host, inshallah.
Inshallah, no, you know, the next week's, inshallah.
Okay, we will. We'll work together, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Brother Tahir as well, the same goes for you. We're going to make you the coach. We want you to keep coming back and talk about these interesting stuff. Thank you. Thank you. And you guys at home, thank you for watching Let's Talk right here on Hooded TV. We hope you benefit from this program. So until next time, we leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.